Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivamy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of heroic television or film. And this week on the podcast, we are continuing our Hunger Games energy, where last week we covered the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
I think that's the title.
I'm always only a little confident when I say it, but we covered the prequel last week. We're covering the first one this week, and this week we are joined by our guest, our friend, Nile Séguin. Hello, Nile.
Hello. How are you?
We're doing very well.
We're great. Do you think only one of us will leave this podcast alive about the Hunger Games?
What are your plans? I didn't think that until now.
That's why I wanted a guest this week.
My money's on Nile.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
I think I'm scrappy.
I think my money's on the person who brought it up, who clearly had a plan.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. And also, ladies usually win the Hunger Games. I'm just going to throw that out there.
That's true. That is true. I feel like you would have. I feel like that's the type of thing you should have brought up and then just ran away from the podcasting table into the night. And we're like, oh no, me and Nile just looking at each other.
Tie yourself to a branch of a tree.
I learned a lot from this movie, you guys.
It was educational.
And Nile, thank you very much for being here today. And you are now a member of the From Superheroes Network family.
Yes, and all I had to do was kill someone. No, that's sorry. Whoa, wow.
We have to make room. That's how you make room on the network. One in, one out.
You thin out the podcast herd. We could have just stopped the other podcast. It didn't have to be murdered.
In all of the contracts, you might not notice this, but very small written at the bottom, it says Highlander rules.
Oh, great.
And that is kind of how we work here.
I'm definitely going to have to work on these numbers because
Yes.
I don't want to die.
Yeah, okay,
Yes. I'm going to be hosting and DMing a podcast called... easy for me to say, Comedians in Dungeons Getting Dragons, which is a bunch of super hilarious comedians playing Dungeons and Dragons, and this nerd here, I'm pointing at myself, DMing.
Nice. Nice. It's very good. It's available this week. You can listen to the first...
Oh, I forgot that part.
Yeah.
See, this is rank amateur. Amateur. Thank God you guys are here. It's available this week. Tell them when.
I've got my hands on the wheel. If you're listening to this the day it comes out, it will premiere tomorrow, but this week you will be able to download the first 2 episodes of Comedians in Dungeons Getting Dragons. And you can find it on FromSuperheroes.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just search for Comedians in Dungeons Getting Dragons. Probably wherever you're listening to this right now is a good place to get it.
Yeah, it's going to be a real fun time. Niall has been DMing longer than he's been podcasting.
Oh, that is very
So that
obvious.
part is very fun. And also
They probably have already guessed that.
Yeah, and a couple familiar voices you might know from the network. Kai Green from The Phantom Show is one of the players, and Rebecca Reeds from The Film Was Right.
So it's a very good time. So all of our listeners, please go check that out. But today we are here to talk about The Hunger Games. So let's get into it. Let's talk about The Hunger Games. All right, we have all seen The Hunger Games, so let's start with the usual, the simple question. We'll go around the table. We'll start with Diana. Diana, did you like it?
I really liked it. I liked it more than I remembered. I've only seen it once before, and I remembered liking it, but this was actually pretty close to a love for me. I was very surprised. I think the acting's great. I cried a few times. There's really emotional moments happening. The Hunger Games is presented with such intensity and groundedness, and it might be the only movie I've seen where children actually die. That shouldn't make it a like. Wait, I'm thinking back on how I'm phrasing this.
Let's power past it is my recommendation.
The stakes were real is how I should have phrased this.
Sure.
And I felt the stakes as I went through. I don't really care about the love story part, but I think the strategies and the politics and the becoming popular and how everyone wins the games and plays the games, I think it's all really interesting. I think it's really well shot. I think it's a well-told story. I like all the actors. I had a really great time at the Hunger Games. We'll watch again. I hope they have a 76th annual Hunger Games. I'll be watching.
Love it. Love it. Now, what about yourself? Did you like it?
Look, I went in there. This might affect the results. I went in there thinking, okay, I'm not the demographic for this movie. And I don't know what happened when it first came out, but there was something in the zeitgeist where I'm like, oh, this is not for me. So I think I came in with very low expectations. Maybe that's what's going on, but I was shocked that I actually very much enjoyed this movie. There was a lot of like, okay, look, everybody, like world building is hard. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. So there's like, I'm like, you guys, oh yeah, everybody here writes.
Yeah.
So you know what it's like to get notes. And so then when you're watching something, you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I'm completely insufferable. But like if the thing that I'm watching does what it's doing well enough, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm in. And that was the case for this movie. I was like, I am totally 1,000% being manipulated right now. I know exactly what you're doing. And yeah, but I'm in. I'm totally...
You weren't distracted by imaginary notes that you perceived. Because I get that feeling.
No,
you're watching something, you're like, why didn't anyone give you this note?
Yeah,
or like...
There was all of this stuff where I'm all, being grumpy old man, but nevertheless, there were scenes where I'm like, I know exactly what you're doing, but I'm holding my breath right now, which is so insane. But yeah. So good stuff. Very fun.
Love it.
Excellent. That's great news. Andrew, did you like the Hunger Games? OG?
I think we're all vibing the same kind of energy here right now. I'm a really high like. I had a fantastic time. I think this really works. I fully get what you're saying now. Like, we're not the core demographic, but this does almost like the platonic ideal of what a studio wants a YA franchise to do, where it's like this manages to have everything, which is
skirted the line right between edgy and very clean. It was
so many
clean,
movies and shows really screw that up, where they'll be like, this is a romance story for teens, but also it's like edgy and grimy enough for adults, and it's like, no, it's not. You blew it. You can't have everything. And this is one where I'm like, you kind of managed to have everything of charm, romance, action, dystopian, like nasty, bad future stuff in a horrifying, truly scary world, but not so scary that I can't imagine teens falling in love. Like, it really is like they nailed it. So I had a terrific time.
Yeah, and that was also, when you mentioned that, also a super tricky wicket, which you just mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, good point, where it's like, the number of times, I don't know about you guys, but the number of times where you are watching a thriller, an action movie or something, and then the couple just decides to fall in love and or have sex right in the middle of some insanely pressurized situation where you're like, really? Is this? But like, they managed to toe that line. They managed to like, I'm like, yeah, I could totally believe that they would kiss there.
Yeah. In other movies, like the Predator will be looking for you and they'll be like, we should bang. And I'm like, the Predator's gonna find you.
You have a bullet wound currently.
Totally.
So it'll be like, you're
insanity.
New hole, who dis?
Wow.
Whoa.
Maybe I watched a different movie.
Diana's got a hot energy today.
Who is this person?
Don't know.
Who is this person?
I don't know. We had such a normal conversation before we started.
Okay,
I'm
going to pitch this. I think Andrew and I will just shut up and just let you cook at this point, because I think I don't know what's coming next.
Let her
but I'm
cook
looking
now.
forward to it.
Now let her cook.
I think coming in with the energy of murder really changed things.
It's a strong Hunger Game energy. Before we unpack our feelings and thoughts and why we like it so much, before we get further into the episode, we do want to take a moment to thank one of our sponsors of today's episode. We want to thank our friends over at NordVPN.
I'm thanking NordVPN because they're easy to use. They're protecting all my information. And honestly, it's so relaxing to be like, you can't see what I'm doing. The internet.
And this is also one of the rare technological things that improve your life and are super easy to use as well. Like, a lot of the times when someone, a friend or a confidant is like, you should install this on your computer, you're like, well, there goes my week life. I need to call in someone to install it and figure. It's so easy to use. It's one click. There's over 5,900 servers in 60 countries. So you can just change your country over to wherever you would like it to be to provide additional security and safety for yourself, so that you have a bit of privacy when you're browsing the web, or also sometimes to circumvent any kind of geo-locked websites or issues that you might be encountering, which is very helpful.
It's very helpful. We like to watch many a sport, and some of their sports aren't available here in Canada, so thank you, NordVPN, for all of our sports. You can also use your NordVPN account on up to 6 devices on every major platform. So you got Windows, you got Android, you got Mac, you got Linux. You can use NordVPN, and it's super, super fast. It's the fastest VPN out there.
And you can access it from everywhere, even when you're traveling, which has actually been nice as well, because I've had a few moments where I've been outside of Canada and tried to do work that I need to do within Canada and couldn't do it. So sometimes it's just like the internet can be a sticky situation, and NordVPN helps you out. So get your exclusive NordVPN deal at nordvpn.com/TFS. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Once again, that's nordvpn.com/TFS for your exclusive NordVPN deal. And thank you, NordVPN, for your support.
Thank you so much, NordVPN.
And now back to the Hunger Games. I am so glad that we all vibed it and had a great time with this. This is sincerely a lot of fun.
This is a lot of fun for me because I really liked it, and there's so many things I want to compliment, but I also have like a couple of goofs that I'm just not going to feel bad about at all. So this is a really fun zone to be in for Hunger Games.
I will say a positive of me watching it that was also a negative as well, to get just kind of one negative out of the way. This is one of the few movies that I did walk out of in theaters.
Oh, yes, you did.
I did walk out on this movie.
What?
Because I was very close to vomiting because the shaky cam
yes.
made me sincerely physically ill.
Oh my God.
I was in a row too close to the screen because it was like an opening weekend sold out showing, so I didn't have a great seat. I was too close to the screen.
I got queasy watching it on my TV.
And that's
and you're in a
it's
big
rough.
big screen.
Big screen front row. It was I literally like ran outside because I was like, I need fresh air. Otherwise I am actually about to lose it. It was more palatable at home. The use of shaky cam is still it's too much. There are some moments where I'm like, I get why you did it here. I understand the motivation. I still think the dial could have been turned down 20%.
That's Paul Greengrass, Bourne Ultimatum, right?
Yes.
He's patient zero for that.
I think so. This is around the same time.
At some point, everyone got so like horny for like shaky cam in like the early aughts, and then it just spread like a virus.
Yeah, I will say even in like Lord of the Rings, they use shaky cam, and I'm like, you've made this less timeless, Lord of the Rings, and I get really upset. It's only in a few fight scenes, and I'm like, this orc is so shaky.
I think it's one of those things where like it does have a purpose in cinema of the like we're trying to convey this level of fear and panic, and like it's hard for Katniss in that scenario, our POV character, it's hard for her to process what's happening, and it's a level of PTSD and trauma that's immediately being inflicted, and it's like I get the motivation, but it's still just turned up too high.
It's a condiment. You can't just
a dash of salt.
A few drips of mustard.
Pinch.
Not, if you're up to 3 cups, it's too much.
I will say also, I think shaky cam just affects different people in different ways, because I didn't remember it being very bad in theaters. I saw this in theaters. And as we were watching it, you remembered that the shaky cam was really bad. And then instantly we were both like, oh, this scene we're watching in particular is very shaky. And then honestly, personally, I never noticed it being all that shaky again. I believe you that it was, obviously, because but it didn't nauseous me and it didn't bother me.
Okay.
So I think people just have a different tolerance, and maybe this director's tolerance was too high.
So shaky cam, dying kids, nothing moves you.
Nothing. No, I cried when she volunteered as tribute. No, I had tears.
Let her cook.
I had a tear or two. What was I gonna? Oh, but I think there are like better techniques though. Like shaky cam is a bit much, but I absolutely love the way that there's 2 scenes where the sound cuts out when really traumatic things are happening. So when the Hunger Games first starts and like 8 kids die in the cornucopia, there's no sound. It's just kind of like a bomb's gone off and her eardrums exploded, basically.
That is the scene where, while it still did make me a little nauseous, where I'm like, this thematically works. Like this is one where I'm like, this scene is pretty messed up, and they really do go for it.
Yeah, and they also got quiet when Rue died, was the other place where it goes silent. And I think that's really cool. It's like we're not glorifying the death of kids by making you hear the children die, and also it feels like mourning at the same time. Yeah, I think it was super cool filmmaking.
No, I feel that.
I just ate like 3 jokes.
Oh,
because I was like, I can't be that guy.
Thank
I can't
you.
be that guy. I'm just gonna move on.
Who joke per minute over the kid dying? It was the kids dying, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was the kids dying.
It was the kids dying.
So
I couldn't. I was like, do it. There's a part of my brain's like, do it. Like,
if you're gonna let her cook, you also got to let her clean. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You gotta let both directions
There's
go.
There's a groove, and then it just would have.
That's a new turn of phrase that have come up. I feel pretty good about that.
I like it.
Quite frankly.
if you gotta let her cook, you gotta let her clean.
Let her clean. Yeah.
It feels a little sexist.
It does.
Now
No,
that I
but that's
think
only because
about
we're
it.
talking about you. It's a gen. Like if I was somehow able to cook,
insert
you'd be
whatever
like,
gendered pronoun you would like. If you're gonna let them cook,
let him cook.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, if
All
you're gonna
right,
let them
fair.
cook, you gotta let them clean.
Fair. I'll take the hit.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say all of the performances in this are top notch as well. It's rare for a movie like this to be like, there's not a stinker in the bunch.
Especially with kid actors, there was no like, oh, I feel so bad for this kid, but like everyone was able to like really drop their lines and like, yeah.
And really just like well cast for the roles too. Like that moment when Jennifer Lawrence is giving her first ever like TV interview and she's kind of like awkward and doesn't know what to say, but that's part of the charm of her. And I'm like, this is every time Jennifer Lawrence, the actress, for the first 5 years of
very
her
method.
career was on
Right.
network television. I'm like, I've seen her do this interview with Conan O'Brien, and I've seen this happen. So kudos to the casting department as well to be like, she is that woman. She is that woman. We found her.
That or she is so method. She didn't break character until the franchise was over.
Yeah.
She knew. She's like, I signed on for 3 movies. I'm doing 3 movies.
I'm
Method.
Katniss till the end.
Only answer to Katniss.
Now, I do respect it. And also everyone who is, all of the adults as well, who've dialed their performances up to 12, which is the right choice for this. Like Stanley Tucci, bless him, as the TV host, as Flickerman, he is chewing, all of the adult actors are chewing scenery in the best fucking way.
Right.
Yeah.
Love it.
And his teeth, so great.
I
Do you think that's a
that.
practical?
Oh, for sure.
I feel like almost Industrial Light and Magic.
You
Got in there with the sheen where you're like, that ain't right.
I actually really like that as a trend that I've seen in different movies over the past like decade or so. It was the Don't Look Up also did it very prevalently as well, which is that anyone on television you can't trust has massively noticeable false teeth is a thing that I've actually noticed in different pieces of media over the past decade where they've been like big, very noticeable veneers for someone whose smile cannot be trusted, whose smile is a lie.
That's a fun one.
And I'm like, I really like that as a little layer to be like their happiness is a lie.
Can we agree? They left money on the table, and I don't know how this would have worked out logistically, legally speaking, by not somehow getting some sort of footage of natural-born killers and just having like, because Woody Harrelson's character was like a Hunger Games champion, and I was like, play the scene where he kills Robert Downey Jr. That would have been perfect. That would have been so on brand.
I don't
like,
think
that's how he
Ryan-
wins. I would have been like, oh, that's amazing.
I love your fan edit.
I was just waiting for it, but it didn't happen.
Was Woody Harrelson 18 in Natural Born Killers? Because you
they could've
have
massaged
18
it.
is your max age.
They could have.
We could find someone else he killed at 18.
If we're buying if we're buying and altering the footage, you throw some de-aging filters on there to really kind of youth them up even more a little bit,
you go.
then we're good.
Or that one episode of Cheers where he strangles Coach to get the job.
That
Oh,
one.
yeah.
The band episode, you mean?
Yeah.
The
The
band-
director's
That's
version.
exactly the one where Oliver Stone directed.
The Cheers holiday special. Yeah, they buried it.
Yeah, when it cuts to black 10 minutes into the episode, I found it to be a bold choice, but it worked.
But Woody Harrelson is also fantastic in this. He actually has maybe the most growth of anyone, like coming in so drunk and so over it. And then this like slow choice of having him sober up, and he like starts like, he like puts a hand over his glass and won't drink anymore at one of the meetings.
That was a nice sneaky
it was
touch.
So
That was very subtle. That was
It
subtle,
was
like-
such nice, subtle acting. It was beautiful character choices that he's making, and him like slowly caring and slowly like investing in these kids. He did an incredible job.
Yeah, he absolutely nailed. And subtle is the right choice of words where like they let him cook. They were like, Woody's acting, everybody step back, like let him do.
cook, and then they let him clean.
They let him do both. They let him do both. They let him put the hand over. There's a lot of storytelling in every element of how they make this movie, which is very impressive as well. Like the sci-fi world that they've created is something that I think is really cool in like, I obviously have a million questions about how any of this fucking helps or works, but
So many questions about the first Hunger Games.
So many.
Yeah.
A million questions.
Oh my God.
But there's some stuff that they've done where I'm like, it makes it feel rich and really good. Like, I like that all of the rich people are oblivious. Like, they're not
kind of like us right now.
Well, that's what I mean. That's kind
Makes
of the
me feel rich.
weirdly. The dumber I am, the richer I feel. Let me tell you.
Money, 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 money.
We're 3 advertises away from losing all common sense, baby. But like them being oblivious, because I feel like movies that try to overwrite, or I guess in this scenario, like books or movies that try to overwrite, try to be like, and all the rich people are aware that it's bad, but they're grabbing onto their money, and like this, like every person who's part of the problem understands that it's a problem, but it's like, no, not that many people in an institutional problem have an awareness of what's going on. Once the system works for you, the average person stops asking questions about the system. Right. And I love that that's how they play all of the rich people in this, where they're not like, oh, well, we need the Hunger Games because otherwise how can I afford my 4th ivory wig? Right. Like, they're just like, yeah, this happens and life is good, and why would any of us ask any questions? And I love that detail.
And what can I do about it, I bet, is also, because that's how I feel right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's totally fair.
Jeez,
Yeah, especially
sorry, guys. Didn't mean to, you guys got to stop letting me cook.
what, you're on cleaning. You're on cleaning duty.
Three for downers.
I'll hold back and clean a couple. How about that?
I swear to God, the Dungeons and Dragons podcast is very uplifting. I promise you.
I think there are as many or more jabs at systemic problems that there are from us talking about the Hunger Games.
We don't have any solutions.
Yeah.
But we got jabs.
Yeah.
We got so many jabs.
To the systemic problems.
Did you either of you read the books? Because I did not.
I did not.
I did not. I started to, and this is a very just personal thing. I do not like first-person books. And this book is very much just Katniss. It's a first-person POV. So I don't like that. So I stopped like a chapter in. It's just a thing I don't like. But I do really like that this movie is very much based on the book, in that there is almost not a single scene that isn't from Katniss's point of view. Like, so many scenes are her, like, walking into scenes that are already in progress. Like, a really subtle thing that is so cool is the fact that the camera never even shows Peeta until he gets reaped, because she's never noticed he existed. And because it's from her point of view, we as the audience also don't notice Peeta at all until he gets reaped. And you're like, you're so thrown of like, wait, Gale's not the one who's getting reaped? This is such a weird trope reversal.
My God. Is Gale his name?
Gale is Liam Hemsworth's name.
God, I hated that guy right out of the jump.
What?
Oh, let me cook. All right. The dark-haired guy?
Yeah, the guy who's in the woods.
Liam Hemsworth?
He's clearly Hemsworth.
Yeah. Hemsworth. Oh, here it comes. So here's the thing about this guy, and I mean, this is not my account, Diana, so you can correct me if you like, but it's just that it felt so standard issue, like so sexist mansplaining. Like when she's out in the goddamn woods, hunting a goddamn deer, minding her goddamn business, and he's like, what are you gonna do with that when you can? And then he fucks up a hunt. People are starving, dude. Maybe she has a plan. What the fuck are you doing? And then he comes down and he's like, oh, I'll make it up for you. And he throws a rock and some birds take off. And then she kills a bird, which same difference as a deer, I guess, you asshole. And then
she could have gotten that bird herself.
Exactly. And she had a goddamn deer. And again, I cannot emphasize this enough. People are starving, you asshole. So then she gets reaped. And then he comes in and he's like, okay, here's what you want to do. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
interesting.
Do you see what happened there?
I like
almost used the N-word. That's when you know I'm upset. That is when you know I'm angry. I'm like, and I catch myself. It's like, dude, neither of us have been to the Hunger Games. You know as much as I do. What the fuck are you doing coaching? Go take care of my sister, you useless bag of garbage. I was so, and then part of me was like, oh fuck, this guy's gonna be the love interest and I'm gonna have to watch him the entire movie. And then he didn't get reaped and I was like, sweet, because I hate him that much. There you go.
I love this energy.
You can rebut if you want, but I hated him so much. I was like, who the fuck is this asshole? It's not your movie, dude. Sit down.
You have made such good points. I don't have a rebuttal here. Like, I agree with all of this. I vibed to him, and now I'm like, ugh, am I the problem? Like, you're right. You're right.
I could be wrong. I'm now looking at Diana for approval, but it's like sneaky mansplaining. Are you out of your mind? Okay, sorry, go.
No, I love this because this answers all of my questions of how there was ever a love triangle, because in my head, I'm like, Gale all the way. Who chooses Peeta? I'm like, oh, okay.
Because Peeta
Nile
fucking respects boundaries.
Does he? I watched you walk home every single day.
Hey,
creepy as fuck, Peeta. Watching's creepy every single day.
Watching is creepy.
Okay,
fine. Every single day is creepy. Every single day.
I will say, if you have a choice between two dudes, one of whom watches you and never gets caught, and one dude goes,
"No, don't phrase it like that. Don't phrase it like that."
And one dude goes, "Hey, what are you hunting, deer?" Like a dumbass. I'm choosing Jughead in every fucking scenario.
Wait, which one's Jughead's the dumbass?
Jughead's the dumbass who yells and scares away the deer over the person who's watching me in the shadows.
He watches, but never. Okay, I'm losing this one. But he never crosses the line. He doesn't get caught, but also never crosses the line.
Doesn't get caught is not selling this.
No, but he's unrequited. He's just sitting there like a loner, which is not great. But he's being
it's
creepy.
It's the follow. Watch is one thing. Watch while follow. That's a new level.
Did he follow?
He said he followed her home, didn't he?
I think he just maybe from school.
Okay, all right. Now I'm starting to dial it back.
Okay,
now.
well I don't know if he didn't. If he followed her, then yeah. But if he did not follow her,
I'm not anti-Peeta because I think he's super creepy though. I'm pro Gale because I like Gale.
Also, can we just put this out there? Why is what is this dichotomy? Why does she got to choose between either of these asshats?
Well, she doesn't in this movie. She's just kind of still single at the end.
I'm just saying. No, you don't have to settle for a stalker. You're a goddamn winner of the Hunger Games. You don't have to settle for a stalker boy or mansplaining. Find the other champion.
Now I need to promote Gale though. I need to sell you on Gale. Now I feel like I'm fucking Flickerman the Hunger Games. Gale comes up on stage. I hadn't thought about the deer thing, and I think I was slightly annoyed in the moment. But you're right. The deer thing is fucking infuriating. That's like a month's worth of pay that he scared away.
May I sidestep on the deer real quick? Gale chaotic neutral over the deer situation, because when Katniss is like, we haven't seen a deer in a year, I'm like, you actually need to let that live, because you need to actually let the deer population increase before you start hunting them.
Hells no, she's not in charge of the deer population.
That's not on Katniss.
That's not on Katniss.
You got to think long term though. If you only see one animal a year, you need to let that. You need to let the deer cook. All right?
The deer's got to let me cook. The deer's got to let me cook the deer. If I got a family and it's between me and the deer population.
Yeah, that's not on Katniss.
Oh, it's going to be an awkward Christmas. Santa's walking.
That was my sidestep.
Peeta is you're in a tense situation. I get why feelings ramp up in the middle of the Hunger Games. Gale is absolute husband material. This man. So yes. He gives her advice before she leaves. What? He shouldn't? He should be like,
he shouldn't.
No.
Because he's never been there.
He's watched it.
So has she.
I'm going to be like, if Andrew got reaped in the Hunger Games, I'd be like, please survive, just hide, do whatever. I would.
That's not advice.
You're panicking.
That's not advice. That's support. Please survive is support.
Well,
notice that please survive was your first one, not, all right, here's what you got to do. Blah, 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 blah. And he's watches the Hunger Games.
You want to get support, though? He takes care of her family with no thought of reciprocation, assuming she is not even going to come back.
You goddamn skippy hippie.
He pulls Prim away so she doesn't get arrested by the peacekeepers when she volunteers. He's taking care of her mom and her sister.
He absolutely should be doing that because he took a deer away. That's a year's worth of money.
It's not a year's worth. That doesn't mean you take care of someone's family for life.
At the very least, you take care of them for a week.
All right.
A week.
Now, I
like this. This is another podcast. It's pro anti-Gale.
The beauty of this debate, and I think that this says a lot about why this is such a great YA property. And that's something that great YA properties do, Diana and I were talking about. When you write a teen romance, youth sci-fi novel, you need to have people pick a side and have a debate. It's the Twilight Edward Jacob thing. It gets conversation going, and no matter who's right or wrong or however you play anything, this is what good YA writing does.
You gotta get them talking about
that
it.
That's
fair.
a good point. I was actually going to.
You got to get people heated.
Yes.
Yeah. I was actually going to posit earlier that might have been the reason you didn't see this originally, because I think this really was this movie was kind of marketed as like YA, a new Twilight, a new Edward versus Jacob.
Yes. Okay, that's what it was.
It wasn't really marketed as, hey, this is just a really good movie.
Yes, very good. Okay, so here's what happened. I bet my girlfriend something. I can't remember. But the loser had to watch Twilight, and I lost. And I was furious and live tweeting. And then I thought, oh, this is another Twilight, so fuck this movie.
Okay.
This movie's better than Twilight.
Yeah. Way better than Twilight.
And to continue on the love story for a moment as well. First of all, a baker who's named Peeta, we could dial that back a little bit. But you can't name a baker after a bread. Get out of here. But
I'm sure the author thought she was very clever.
Yeah, right?
I spelled it a little.
It's too easy to you. But I really like their romance as this, even if you don't necessarily like buy into, Peeta's the one or whatever. I love this story of performative romance that they are laying down to be like, he does maybe feel something for her, but he is also way smarter about immediately playing things to the camera than she is. So is he playing this up for ratings and attention and survivability? And then her buying into it with the kiss and like Woody Harrelson's character being like, you gotta like kiss harder with like dropping off the thing.
Call that a kiss, yeah.
It feels very like and you start buying into it more and more as an audience member to be like, I don't know when you're acting and when you're being real. It almost feels like when two actors fall in love on a set together. Like when you hear about like these two actors are filming a movie together, playing romantic leads. Oh, they're banging now and they're in a relationship. Because at some point when you pretend something so hard for so long, it bleeds into reality and starts messing with your head.
That was actually another thing I was going to say where I felt like they left money on the table was, and this was another way this movie got me, was in early going when they're hanging out with Woody at the condo, which by the way, if I'm in the Hunger Games, I'm getting my own fucking condo. I don't have a roommate. Are you out of your mind? Anyways, but like, when he was doing the sort of like, he's kind of got a crush on her, I was like, is he playing her? And I was like, this is so great. Like, I was like, and I wanted it to be he's playing her, and then like he does like a big reversal at the end, right? Where he was just playing the long game. I was like, that's gonna be the best fucking, but they didn't do it. But actually, now that I'm after just hearing you now, you know what? Fuck both these guys. Because like Peeta was, you're gonna drop that you have a crush on her, right? Like on national TV. That's the most manipulative thing ever.
Yeah, but he didn't do it to get her to like him. He did it so that they'd get prizes in the Hunger Games and make them more popular. So I'm actually like pretty cool with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got medicine and soup because he like played up their romance.
Okay, but that wasn't his entire plan.
If people in our human world are allowed to do that on Bachelor in Paradise or whatever in order to get a little bit of popularity, I think these people can do it to not die that week. Performative romance is a thing that exists in our regular television.
Okay. If it would stop at that, but I don't think it stopped at that. I think he was trying to like manipulate her into liking him. It was gross.
I don't think he was at all, because he also cut off communication with her in the condos. He didn't want to talk to her. If he was trying to manipulate her.
What was that about?
I think he just didn't. I'm not quite sure what that was about. I think he was maybe like embarrassed about admitting he liked her.
Oh, I think that was him trying to like steel himself up to knowing he'll have to kill the woman he likes.
This is the other fun part about this movie. We all have an interpretation. I thought that was the team saying, fuck that guy. Katniss is the winner, so we're all going to invest in her, and we're just ditching him. He can train himself.
I also thought it was he'd already been whispering with the popular kids to join their team.
Wow.
And was already like getting a conspiracy going and was like, I'm going to have to kill Katniss, so I really don't want to be falling for her more.
Right.
This is why the movie's so interesting to be from only Katniss's POV, because you do have to kind of discuss everyone else and figure it out.
What's that about?
And one more thing about the performative romance that I really, really like is, you're right, it's so performative and it's so hard to find the line, because because of the cameras, they can't even like whisper to each other like, we should kiss and like really ramp it up, because the cameras and the microphones are catching literally everything. So they can't even discuss how much it's performative.
Sure.
Which, like any other, if you were on The Bachelor, like the cameras stop eventually and you're like, this is going to be good for my Twitter accounts, but I don't actually like you. But like in this, they are so trapped in not being able to communicate what's real. It's very interesting.
I like that. Yeah, I
nice.
think that is a nice thing about having a singular POV, is that it allows discussion and interpretation as to what the motivations are. Well, let's take a quick break in the podcast to thank our other sponsor of today's episode. We want to thank our friends over at Mint Mobile.
We love Mint Mobile, and Mint Mobile loves you, and they want you to give yourself a gift this year, and that is the insane savings you can get with Mint Mobile for their best wireless deal of the year, and it's great.
Listen, you have had a tough year. You've had a tough year, and you deserve something to like make up for it. And that is going to be Mint Mobile. When you buy any 3-month plan, you get another 3 months for free. Or alternatively, you've had a real good year. You've been killing it this year. Frankly, this has been your year, and you deserve a little treat. In which case, you're going to want to buy any 3-month plan, and you'll get another 3 months for free. So really, no matter how this year has been, it seems like this is going to be a nice holiday moment for you with Mint Mobile.
It's going to be good for you. Yeah, all plans with Mint Mobile come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with Mint Mobile and switch easily effortlessly. You can get an eSIM emailed to you.
Yep. It's so
no
smooth.
breezy.
Their website is so smooth and easy to use. I
so
loved
smooth.
it. I loved the process where I'm just like, I understand what's happening, which is a rare thing when you're dealing with a communications company, which I ironically often do not know how to communicate their ideas.
Yeah, Mint Mobile's like, these are the plans. This is what they are. Pick whichever one you like, and it's so easy to go through. But if you do need a new device, for a limited time, you can get 6 months of free service when you buy a select device and plan. So hard or good year, you deserve this.
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Hot dog. New device, 6 months of free service. Any 3-month plan, you get another 3 months for free. There's deals. There's other deals. No matter what the year, you deserve a little treat. So check it out. For a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/TFS. That's mintmobile.com/TFS. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/TFS.
Shout out to Ryan Reynolds, just if you're listening.
And that's just a quick shout out.
That's just for me.
That's unrelated.
I think for those of you at home not listening to this and not seeing it, I think Mint Mobile owes you guys some extra cash because Diana's doing like full on hand waving. Like full on, it was so funny.
The physicality that we bring to it.
Because when you were like, unlike those other providers, she was pointing at the providers, and it was all I could do.
I embody
it.
my ads.
You really do.
It flows through you.
Oh my God.
I feel the ad vibes.
Yeah, you're the ad on fire. Absolutely, you are catching fire all of the time.
I cook, I clean, I catch fire.
You catch fire. Here's a quick
so many
goof that I
metaphors.
want to say about the Hunger Games.
Oh boy, we're doing goofs. How much internet do we have?
Let's
we're gonna run
let's
out.
see how much bandwidth we can
We're on the
use.
5G with Mint Mobile.
Hey.
I'm gonna say, may the odds ever be in your favor is the stupidest log line for a sporting event I've ever fucking heard. He yells, like the president says that to everybody from every district and all the players. That would be the most mockable phrase that anyone. Imagine if President Biden showed up to like an NBA Finals game and said, "I hope everyone wins." People would be like, "You senile idiot, that's the dumbest thing you could say to a series of competitors. Not may the best man win. I hope everybody has a good day." What, are you fucking stupid?
Wow.
This is the dumbest catchphrase.
This catchphrase is your Gale.
This is your Gale.
Yeah.
'cause
I'm so upset.
You can't say it to the group of people who are competing against one another.
Isn't it an overwritten way of saying good luck?
I think it is an overwritten way of saying good
To
luck.
everyone?
Yeah,
I
I
say
mean,
good luck to everybody. Good luck,
hear me
everybody.
out. Hear me out. Does he or does he not? At the beginning of every Price is Right episode, Drew Carey tells all the contestants good luck. It's the same thing. Only one person wins. Only one person wins at the end of an episode of The Price is Right. We watch it every day. We
We are witnessing peak Diana. This is what is happening. I'm so glad I was here for it.
And it's going to turn into a being of pure light any second and
Three
ascend.
people spin the wheel. He
love
tells
it.
all of them good luck. Only one person's going to win.
I rest my case.
And we love Drew Carey, so I know I got Andrew
Gavel,
on this one.
you got me. You've got me.
So
You know what?
bonkers.
I've been proven wrong.
Okay.
And obviously I'm the only one this hot about this catchphrase.
Yeah, you're pretty hot about it.
They snuck it right back. I was like,
I think it's fine.
But it's also like the catchphrase and log line. Like if it was like NBA Finals, good luck. That's a dumb ad.
right. Okay.
That's a dumb ad.
In terms of the log line, sure. Or
Yeah.
the for the poster, yeah, that's.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't like it.
What would you like have gone with?
Yeah, you got any-
Let's
you got
pitch
any
some
alts?
alternates. Let's pitch some. The
One person leaves. Like they all enter. One person leaves.
Last
I mean,
kid standing?
that's used.
Yeah. Fair,
yeah.
Okay.
last kid standing.
Last kid standing. Sure. Sure.
One won't go hungry.
Whoa.
One will be well fed.
Whoa. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Every game has a winner.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
like
all,
a more aggressive type of approach.
It's
you know.
not all fun and games.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh,
Okay. Yeah.
I got nothing. I mean nothing. Let me see.
Yeah, if you're not first, you're last. that's it. Not to steal one from Ricky Bobby, but if you're not first, you're last is the
That is
perfect
very
catchphrase.
appropriate.
Everyone's dead.
Yeah, yeah.
That is very appropriate.
So that's where I'm
That's
at
your
with
goof.
goofs.
My goofs are I've got so many questions about making fireballs and creating animals
out of
instantly
and just dropping them.
from the ground.
Yes.
The animals more than the fireballs, because the fireballs, I'm like, that is silly that you have built-in fireballs, and I don't know where they're coming from, but it makes more sense than this is a living being animal that just kind of teleported into existence.
It kind of felt weird that it was like we can just create animals and genetically engineered super wasps, but there's no internet.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
I was like,
but we also can't create enough like food for everyone.
We can't just come up with renewable. Hey, how about we eat these animals you keep creating out of nowhere?
Yeah, like District 12 is coal. District 11 is grain, from what I understand, in the food supply. And I'm
all
like,
old-timey resources.
We still need grain.
District 5 is tin.
You 3D printed an owl bear. Why do we need grain?
I mean, we need grain to eat. Why do we need coal?
Why do we want
We're
to eat the
past
owl
coal.
bear?
District
it's a
2 is
real,
asbestos.
But yes, why
Yeah.
coal?
I
Why
mean, I
coal?
feel like the owl bear must have like actually been like energy or something.
Sure.
Like they didn't act because like if they can make that's the capital are real assholes if they can just make meat.
This is the thing where you, and this is what I was talking about in terms of world building. It's like once you get into, it's once you create a thing, then it's hard to really measure out properly the shell, like the shock waves of
Yeah.
that thing.
And I think that this is still an improvement on not having read the books, but I understand that this is a divergence from the novels. In the novels, where essentially a type of like experimental science necromancy is real, where all of the dogs are previous competitors that have been their corpses have been genetically modified
used to
to
be
be
just
the
dogs.
animals in future games.
Right.
And I'm like, that's actually a big thread to pull on, and I feel like that requires more world building than even we 3D printed a dog.
Do you guys think that someone right now who like read the books thoroughly is just losing their minds?
I always
always
assume
at
that.
their
Always
podcasts?
assume
It
that.
pretty
being
much
like,
always happens. We like to really like make sure people know we have not read a book if we haven't read a book.
So sorry for your loss if you've read the book. If you've read the book and we're stomping all over it and we're just making obvious
Yeah.
oopsies.
How about this for another goof then? I'm going to lay this down.
Okay.
The flawed fallacy that I understand rich people have many advantages over everyone else in society. One thing rich people are famously not as good at: violent sports. There is no amount, and they're like, we have an academy and training, and they have all the best resources. And I'm like, it does not matter. All of the best resources make rich people good at very specific sports: boating, squash, golf. Like
Yachting.
Yachting. If your parents own an emerald mine, you become Elon Musk, not George St. Pierre. Like, there is a reason that none of the greatest fighters of all time in human history have ever been rich
Big
kids.
money kids?
Yeah. So I really do think that any one of the coal miners would destroy the most trained rich person.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I mean,
I'm gonna ramble.
Oh, because they even I agree completely because they even like at least they say that Peeta is actually stronger than them because he's farm strong, which is a wildly different kind of strong.
I think that's a good detail.
But what else is weird about the two? I think District 1 and 2 are pretty rich. So they're well trained. They come in knowing what's going on. Because another thing rich people are not prone to do is volunteering themselves for death. The people from District 1 and 2 volunteered. They were
did they?
not.
I thought it was
reaped.
just
no. They
they
said
volunteer.
it. Yeah, the rich. So it's like this person's rich and we've trained them, and they volunteered to die. Or are you like a poor person that a rich person bought and trained? I don't even understand what happens in District 1 and 2.
This is the thing where it's like again. Before I continue, really enjoyed the film. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed
It's
it.
a really good movie.
We're in goof corner now. We're
My
allowed to goof. We're allowed to
Dear
goof.
God, the world building. And maybe the books explained it, but what I couldn't understand, what I was genuinely confused by is how so many of them acted like this was the first time they'd ever been exposed to the Hunger Games. Like, are you kidding me? Look, if I live in a world, like, well, this is what Hunger Games
74th.
was this? What? Get the fuck out.
So
Oh my God! I don't know where I got this. I thought it was the 11th. 74th?
no, the prequel that's out right now is the 10th, and this is the 7th. The movie
Are
we
you
watched is
kidding
the
me?
74th.
Okay, all right. My
So their
God.
entire lives, they've Hunger Games
That's
have
the craziest
existed.
shit I've ever. First of all, if I live in this goddamn world in one of these districts, I'm not having 2 kids. I'm having 10. I'm playing the odds,
more
and all
kids.
of these kids, right out of the gate, I am training them to be monsters. We're not baking. No, it's all jujitsu and like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
And I'm training them how to survive in the elements. Like, we are going bonkers. And then when I say, if any of you guys get raped and they take you to a room where there's a big meal, you're not talking. You are filling up. I need you as fat as possible before you get out there because
There's
again,
no way in.
exposure.
Just bulk up.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
It is bonkers. I was like, how is everyone's all like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, I was just shocked that no one and then that was the other thing where 74th? I keep looking at Diana like, can you correct that?
Because the next movie is the 75th, and
Because
like
The
it's-
tricentennial.
yeah.
This is the thing where it's like a lot of times, like when you're writing a script, like the big question is why now, right? And this was the thing where when Rue died and there was a riot in District 11, I'm like, that would be every year. That would be like this Katniss thing, which I'm assuming is going to, I haven't seen it, but I assume it ends with her leading a rebellion and freeing everyone. That would have happened on year 2, year 3.
Yeah.
Like you're not, and again, if you don't do it this way, there's no way to have the movie, but I just felt like there should have been some way to massage it, some sort of mechanism.
I do agree most of the kids are wildly undertrained for a thing that definitely happens to 2 of them every year.
Yeah.
And like, but there is an element of if you're so poor, you don't have time, you don't have the resources, you're always working to go train. But you would think there'd be like a class at school if you get raped for the
Here's
Hunger
thing.
Games.
I think if you're poor and if you're ending up in the mines, there's no school. There's fight school, there's survival school, and there's mine school. What do you need math for? You're not ever leaving here unless you murder someone.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's no upward opportunities.
Yeah.
So we're gonna train you to dig coal and fight.
Yeah.
And the digging of coal will probably help with the back strength required to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. So this
not the lung capacity, but you're young. You'll bounce back. You know, like
and I think there was a way to write around that. Like if you were like, okay, 74 years, then we have to figure out a way why they let this happen, why there isn't a rebellion every year, why these, or just go with it. The kids are trained. The kids do get a bit of training. How does that change your movie?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
If anything, it would make them more sympathetic because you're like, Jesus, this kid's basically a child soldier. They're all child soldiers. This is kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sympathy has to come from the fact that like the poorer ones aren't trained though. Like Katniss very Katniss makes a point of not killing. Like, she kills that one guy who kills Rue, but then, like, she wants to blow up their food instead of, like, actually shooting them with arrows. Like,
Sure.
she,
No, for
I
sure.
think we like our main characters because they're not child soldiers who've been trained.
But that would be even better if she was not trained like maniacally, but like if she had a mom or a parent who was like, you got to do this, you got to learn how to murder. And despite all of that, when she's out there, she's like, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm
she
going
pushed against it.
And then she pushes up
Against
against
her
it. Now you're like,
training.
oh, she's like a genuine. Now I'm on her team because everyone her whole life has been telling her, fuck some shit up.
I love that.
I see what you're saying there. I do think, though, that there are grander implications of the world, though, or kind of more thematic implications of the world where it's the rich people are more desensitized to the idea of violence. If you were a poor person with a poor parent who was like, kill, 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 and you pushed back, that's more than about like pushing back against like your parents and society. But if it's poor people who generally are like, this is fucked. We all are poor and we all agree this is fucked. We're born with morality and it has to be bought away from you. And that I feel like is something that the movie is saying, is that wealth is what will slowly chip away at your morality.
Right.
And it'd be like this, the rich kids are the ones who are trained to kill because their parents are cool with them killing because that makes you a winner and that's how we stay winning.
But then I think you could have just, you could still keep that, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to write this thing, but, but it's like you could still keep everyone gets trained, but the rich ones are the ones because it's so much easier to other people when you have money.
I feel that.
That they're cooler with like, yeah, let's fuck some shit up.
Yeah. But then we don't get cool coincidental skills like Peeta's absolutely absurd face makeup because he's a baker.
Okay.
That was insane.
District 12. Okay, so he's like, I can make camo like wildly realistic, like the show Face Off version camouflage.
It was nuts.
Because
It was madness.
I decorate cakes. I'm like, you're from the poorest district. Who the hell is buying a cake that has that intricate a design work on it?
Yeah.
Happy birthday. This looks like a buried child who's hiding from other children. What? Why would you?
Who's half in a river, half in a rock, and half in moss.
Yeah, also, Peeta, what the fuck is your hiding place? You're
worst.
You're lying next to a river waiting to die.
Yeah. Also,
Bleeding.
You're in District 12. Are you selling a lot of high-end cakes?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
Yep.
I believe that people buy a cake once a year, like they save up all year or something for a birthday or whatever. But you're selling mostly bread, sir.
And when they showed
You're
him
mostly selling
bread with some powdered sugar on top. Happy birthday.
And when they showed him practicing it in training, he had like a nice palette in front of him, several different brushes. So like in this scenario, he had been sliced with a sword and then crawled away a bit and was like, "Let me get out my brushes," and then did intricate painting for hours.
Astounding.
I need the scene where he painted his own face. No mirror.
And his own face
No
too.
mirror.
The hardest thing.
The face.
You know what? As soon as we're done this, I'm going on YouTube to watch makeup artists react to this scene.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fair.
Just lose their minds.
You've gotta be shitting me.
I can't put basic foundation on without a mirror. Like, I'll miss a spot. The chin will be the wrong color. Like,
Yeah, but you're not a baker.
You know
To
what?
be fair.
Yes,
To
Peeta
be
the
fair.
baker's really got makeup skills on me, woman
Let's get
in society.
Let's get a baker in here, and we'll see. We'll see.
It was pure comedy.
Hilarious.
It honestly felt like something from Get Smart. Like it didn't feel like it belonged in this grounded, dirty world.
The rest of the movie was so grounded. It was like, oh, we need matches for a fire. And he's like, yeah, I've got full face paints available.
And for all the training all of them did, none of them took basic first aid. Because like there are several points where people are like, I have an open wound. And they all look at it and I'm like, apply pressure. Stop the bleeding.
And also,
A bandage.
One bandage.
And also, and again, to reiterate, we very much enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
But also, you're poor, you don't learn about how to take care of a wound. Like, I don't get the feeling there's a lot of hospitals in districts 1 through,
Yeah.
well, no, sorry, 3 through 12.
Yeah.
That I'm sure at some point one or two of them learned how to dress a wound.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't have like a fire bomb, sure. But his slice and Katniss looks at it and is like, huh, gross. And that's it. Like close it. Puts pressure.
You know what?
Rip off.
Walk it off.
Rip off a bit of clothing and then wrap it around.
Me nuts. They were standing there wearing just oodles of clothing. Just take one strip.
One strip.
This is, I'm going to say, Katniss was definitely faking all of her feelings for Peeta if she's not willing to tear off a sleeve and make a bandage.
Yeah, she was
I don't actually care about this guy. My sweater.
She was like hoping for the fever to kick in. Just like, oh no. How you doing, buddy? You feeling warm?
You didn't.
You good?
She didn't even rip his clothes to make a bandage.
I don't understand why he didn't just dress it up like a birthday cake.
Oh yeah, put a little candle in there, blow it out.
Yeah. There's a little candle in the distance. I would love that.
Here's my thing my final goof for me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now you talked about how like everyone would rebel every year. If I was in the districts, the thing that would make me rebel is I'm watching and there's like 6 kids left and they announce that it's now like a team sport and that two people from the same district can both survive. I would be at home so furious. I would start a revolution over this. I'd be like, it's not a team game.
Yeah. Not to mention future.
All of my team is dead, probably.
Or if you
I've
just
only
have
got
one.
Yeah, I think they were the only team left. I'm pretty sure.
Also, let's be real. Future Vegas would be livid.
Yeah.
Future
Like you must
Vegas,
be able to bet on the games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and we're talking rich people now. Rich people
Very
betting
rich.
on the games. Yeah. The other thing. Okay. Sorry, were you going to touch on that?
No.
Okay. The other thing that I was like, so that producer guy, not Jake Gyllenhaal. I can't. I don't.
Oh,
I
not
don't
Ben
know his name.
Barnes. I always think it's Ben Barnes.
Wes Bentley. He looks like a lot of other people.
Yes.
But yeah. The producer,
that guy.
He looks like a lot of.
that
He
guy.
looks like Matt Bomer a little bit, I think, as well. Ian Somerhalder. But actor Wes Bentley playing Seneca Crane, I believe.
Was that his first day? That was crazy to me. All of that was like, because I saw that, and again, I was like, Nile, it's not this movie. That's not the movie you're watching.
Right.
Deal with it. But in like, if you were gonna do it realistically, you have one person who is not from District 1 or 2, and she volunteers to save her sister. Like, if I'm a producer, she's a winner. She's the winning this thing before we even start. Before we even start, I am hamstringing the other kids. I'm making it look like, oh, is she? Well, will she? Won't she? And then the other thing is like, I sit her down. I'm like, okay, here's the thing. You're gonna win, and you're gonna talk about how great this system is, or we're gonna kill your sister. Well, but if you don't, we're gonna give your sister the best life ever. Like, that's how that would play out, right? Like, you're not gonna like, oh, I don't know who's gonna win this one.
I do think they're not quite sure if this is wrestling or if this is a sport with with where they just control the PR around it. Because there are times where it's like, okay, you burned Katniss.
Right.
You sent a fireball at her
Right.
because you didn't like what she was doing. Do you
Yes.
not want her to win? And are you choosing who wins and putting your finger on the scale? And then there are times where they're just like, all right, let's see what happens. I'm like, but are we seeing or are we controlling what happens?
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's the thing. And because, I mean, I look at this and I look at Donald Sutherland's character and everything, this is clearly something to keep the districts 3 through 12 in their place.
Yeah.
And so if that's what it is, they would not have waited 74 years. They would have, right out of the gate, every year, it would just be pure propaganda.
Yeah.
They pick one person, they say they're gonna like Woody's character, you're gonna toe the company line, you're gonna win. Like they would test to see who's polling and who's doing well and yada yada, and that's how everything. But then you wouldn't get the fun movie.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
There would be a farm league for the Hunger Games. There'd be the G
There would be
League.
a draft.
Yeah.
Like in the spring. District 12 gets third pick.
I agree with you to an extent that it is weird that like the teams are in charge of the strategy for making the kids popular because the producers would want the kids to all become popular.
Yeah.
Like the goal would be 12 popular kids.
Yes.
If possible. But it is a little strange. I mean, they give her like a fashion consultant and everything, but to not be as hands-on as you would expect is a little not what you'd think.
It just, and I don't know if I've already said this, so apologies, might be the ADHD, but it feels like they're the world is violating its own rules.
Yeah, I agree.
You're doing this.
They alternate between whether or not it is wrestling or rollerball, and it's like, what quite do you want?
Pick the
Do
way.
you care about the ratings, or do you care about suppressing the people with a bread and circus show?
Right.
Because sometimes they're like, we just got to give the people bread and circus and put them in their remind them that they can die and we can kill them, and then also give them entertainment. But then sometimes they're like, we need the ratings to be higher, and I'm like, okay, but do you care about this as a profitable television program?
Yeah, what is this?
Or as a
What are we doing?
means of suppressing, but also they're striking a lot of lines at the same time.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like
there's a
they
lot
do
of moving
balance
parts.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah. As you said,
But
disclaimer, we rather enjoy this movie.
No,
But,
for sure. Yeah, but it was just the moments, the number of times the producer guy got caught flat-footed. I was always like, okay, what is this?
Fair.
Is he new?
Yep.
It's fair. I have like 2 quick final points. One very, very quick one. I will say, basically, almost always we complain when a movie is more than 2 hours. This movie should be over 2 hours and makes it work perfectly. The pacing's fantastic. Way to go, movie. I never say that about a film.
It is really good pacing. Like,
It moves.
At no point am I like, why are we still here? Like
Right.
every single time, I'm just like, we've moved on to what feels like the very natural flow of it.
It
really
feels
good.
like that's the whole story. Not anything was cuttable. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
You earned the 2.5 hours. That never happens. Very brief. We didn't talk about this actor. I can't believe he doesn't do more stuff. Lenny Kravitz is incredible in this.
I was like, is that Lenny Kravitz?
Being just so charming and likable and intense and passionate. I'm like,
He
Lenny
sells a lot.
Kravitz?
I-
Your daughter giving you acting lessons? Lenny?
I frankly don't like that he's billed as Lenny Kravitz in this. I'm like, this is actor Leonard Kravitz.
Oh.
This is Leonard.
This is Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah. Leonard showed up on
Leonard.
set today.
Yeah. Yeah, that was impressive. I mean, not a huge range, but I mean, still he did the job way better than a lot of actors would. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
for a musician celebrity stunt casting to a certain degree,
whose only work is music videos, from what I understand.
Yeah.
It just comes right off the bench.
Other movie? I can't find his IMDb. He's so far down this list for some
yeah,
reason.
fair enough. He's done other things, but his daughter's the actor of the family.
Yeah. But yeah, he is just wildly like intense, and I'm like, oh God, I get it, Lenny Kravitz. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Fanning myself. You're the man on fire.
But the whole supporting cast as well. Elizabeth Banks as
Ooh,
like
she's
the makeup and like PR person does a great job of kind of knowing who that is and coming in unlikable and
yeah.
still
Great
kind
job.
of staying unlikable, but get like you see a little softness around her edges as it moves forward, which feels also very natural and real. Elizabeth Banks does a phenomenal job. Yeah, we mentioned Tucci as the television host who does a phenomenal job with those interviews as well. I also wanted to mention Liam Hemsworth as Gale. I will say I know like, I don't want to we're not relitigating. We are not relitigating.
I've already spoken my piece. We all know where I stand on Gale.
I just want to say, as a young actor who is just coming over and popping off in America, his American accent is really fucking good.
Ooh,
yeah.
It's really good.
The
That's
performance
fair.
was solid.
I would actually say that, like, of all of the Hemsworths, I'm like, you immediately had an American accent down better than any of your brothers, and like, this is just it's really good vocal work. I'm like, you sound great.
That's a great point. Yeah, I had him really pegged as all-American. That's
Yeah,
fair.
and it's also especially difficult as well whenever like a dystopian or this type of a sci-fi thing, which is set in general America but without like regional or timed dialects, has a foreign actor in it to be like, you need to play general America. America at any point in time, past, present, or future, in a geographic landscape that doesn't actually quite make sense, and you need to hit that. And he hits it. I'm like, that kind of rules.
It kind of feels like they aimed for the 20s, though. I wonder if they gave him that, like, you're an American in the 20s. Because there was that scene when the mine blew up and they went down, and I accidentally started laughing because I'm like, what year is this? It's supposed to be the future, and I thought I was watching, like, a Ken Burns documentary on, like, the mines.
I do think the aesthetic, they're just like,
1920s.
the poorer you are, the further decade back, like you go one decade back with every district.
It's all
district.
wooden rocking chairs and so much mandolin. So much mandolin. The soundtrack, I was like, maybe less, you guys.
No, it's the right amount.
Oh my God.
All right, well, I'm feeling pretty good on the Hunger Games. How we all feeling? We've
I'm
said our
feeling great.
piece?
I believe
You
we've.
said what you want to say?
I believe we litigated.
Yeah.
You have any final thoughts? Feel free to lay them down if you do.
I kind of didn't know how I felt about them fridging the black girl. That was my whole sort of like,
Okay.
wish you hadn't done that. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, okay, wait, is this going to be a white Christ thing? And then it wasn't. And I was like, oh, so she's dead. She's absolutely dead. So I was like, but I mean,
It's kind of
Respect her. She did great.
Respect to her. They also, I don't know if it makes you feel any better, they killed like a lot of white kids too.
yes, but none of those white kids were like her buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like when it's standard issue when you have an action hero whose wife and kids die, and then it's like, I must get revenge. It was like the version of that where I'm like, oh, yeah.
See, I really liked the dude from her district who
fucking
came in
rules.
hot and hard. And I was like, I want to know more about this dude.
Yeah, this is the thing.
When he comes in and saves Katniss and like grabs that woman's like, you killed Ro? Fuck you. You get one, Katniss, and then takes off. I'm like,
this is the
this
other
dude
thing.
rips.
But this is the other thing. And I mean, that was also part of, like, you guys were talking about pacing. I feel like they could have probably, I don't know how badly it would have fucked up with the pacing, but I feel like they could have fleshed out a few more people. And he was one of them, right? Because like he was just like a cartoon character, standard issue, angry, big black guy.
Right.
With a destructive force. Like he was just like, okay. And then
But
the
he
next
loved
time
Ro.
we see him, it's like,
But he loved and respected Ro. So
but not enough to like
protect her
hang out with her
permanently.
and
Yeah.
protect her.
They-
It's like,
they
what,
got-
are
I
you
mean-
angry or not? What happened here?
Yeah, it was
That
like they got
kind of-
separated pretty quick and easy. But I think Rue's whole thing was like hiding, and his thing was attacking.
Right. Anyways, that was the thing where I was like, ugh.
Totally valid.
Very valid. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up as your final thought. I think that does it. Well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change. So now that we've discussed everything we've discussed, what would you change about this movie if you could change anything? Before we do ask the final question, we will remind our listeners, as we do every week, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, or wherever you are listening to this right now.
Wherever you're listening right now, you can probably leave us a 5-star rating. Hopefully you can leave some kind of written review that says we're cool and our opinions are valid. That'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. We liked this movie.
You can make it as you can make the review as detailed or as simple as you'd like. You can literally just write the word "great stuff," 2 words, "great stuff," or you can let us know your full thoughts on the podcast. But leave it; it helps us find new listeners. It's a free way to support the show, which we really appreciate. And as well, if you do want to support the show monetarily, you can do that over on Patreon, which is a monthly subscription service where you can subscribe at whatever level is in your budget, and you'll get different levels of cool bonuses depending on what level you subscribe at.
Yeah, at the $3 level, you will get this podcast ad-free and early, which is very, very nice, especially when we do new releases. And at the $10 level, you will get an extra episode of this podcast every single month, and you will also get access to all of our previous episodes immediately. There is so much more Talk from Superheroes out there if you know where to find it.
Absolutely.
And one of those episodes is just Diana cooking.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
The cook episode. Yeah.
The cooking
Andrew
episode.
wasn't,
episode.
Andrew wasn't home. I just hit record.
Yeah. And she just starts cooking.
Just cooking.
She starts cooking.
She cleaned up.
Our most recent one was on the new Apple TV series Monarch. That's available over right now. So head on over and check out the Patreon page. Subscribe at whatever is in your budget. And if your budget changes, you can always cancel or change your level at any given month. So you're not locked in. It's breezy, it's fun, and it helps support us and the network. So head on over to patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That is patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. And now let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, let's start with you. What would you change?
My change is going to be about Katniss's whole on fire dress. Now, what I don't like, I get why the crowd likes that she has an on fire dress and why she wears it twice and she becomes the girl on fire. It's really nice. I don't like that Katniss kind of has no agency about that. It's Lenny Kravitz's idea. He executes it. It makes her popular, but it's nothing about Katniss. Like,
And yet you still like Gale.
We're talking about my change right now.
Sorry.
Still pro Gale.
Very rude of me.
So I actually would really like it. And the whole thing about Katniss is she volunteers to save her sister, and her sister definitely wouldn't have survived. Her name's Prim. She's kind of into like pretty things, and she dresses nicer than Katniss, and she's more proper than Katniss. So my change is going to be that Katniss has the idea of lighting herself on fire, inspired by her sister, who is kind of more into like design and fashion and looking nice. And it kind of connects her to her sister, and it's her idea. And Lenny Kravitz executes it and like comes up with a way to make this like fire idea work. But it's actually like Katniss's like kind of thing. So it's like more of her like, this is how she gets popular. She is kind of guiding her own story in that way. Because I didn't really, as much as Lenny Kravitz ruled in this, I was like, oh, she's just going to wear whatever he tells her to. I don't like that. So that's why this is a great movie, and that's the biggest change I can come up with.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Interesting. Cool. I like it. I respect that a lot. I think that that's very cool. I also think that there would also be, like, in her creating it, some symmetry around, like, it's a coal mine town and a bunch of people died in, like, an explosion, to be like, you're a spark in the mine, like you're an explosive force coming in. I feel like there's something about like the class and system that they're in that would be said there too.
Coals lit on fire.
Yeah, I like it.
Lots of fun things.
I like it.
Nice.
Niall, what about yourself? What would you change about this?
I had two.
Lay it on us.
One's kind of shits and giggles, but also not really. I would have either Peeta or the big main bad.
Kato.
One of those, you got to cast them differently. Because at one point during the fight scene, I was like, it felt like I was watching Jesse Plemons fight Matt Damon. Like, I was like, who is who? This is bonkers. They're so close. That's
One of them's
crazy.
a little taller.
When it's a night
Just a
scene.
little
Like, if you told me they were related, I'd be like, for sure. Yeah.
And they're also fighting on a slanted surface, so that kind of removes the height difference.
But
as well.
it was just like there were moments where I'm like, what? Oh no, he's okay. That's Peeta. Like that was just. It was just a weird casting moment because It was a weird thing that no one in casting was like, okay, that's a little close. Let's flip Hemsworth in or something, right?
That's totally fair.
That was a
Also,
bit
they
of a
didn't need to
head-scratcher.
maybe they didn't need to put all the tributes in the same outfits.
Right.
Like even if
they
you had a
styled
different
them
color on, like
per
each district gets a different color or something.
Yeah.
That would help.
And then you're shit out of luck if you're like District 7 because you're like bright orange.
Oh shit.
District 1 is black.
Well, Peeta can camouflage you up.
He opens a little store.
But then you're just a pink birthday cake. You're like, God damn it, Peeta. The other thing that I would change, and again, I don't know how much this would mess around with the pacing. I find for movies like this, for genre movies like this, they're only as good, and again, maybe this is not what the movie is about, but the movie is only as good as the bad guy. So what I would have liked is more, what was his name again?
Kato.
Kato. I would have liked more instances of Kato. You know, like, remember like Winter Soldier? Like Winter Soldier, the Joker. Like by the time it gets to the confrontation, you're like, what the fuck is this guy gonna do? Like I've just been watching him just be a lunatic and a buzzsaw, and now Katniss is gonna fight him? Like, no, this is not good. Like it should be, there should have been more like vibes of that and less like, you know, 80s high school after school bully
Right.
and more we need to talk
Sincere-
about Kevin like just like a kind of like creepy ominous vibe.
I am a rich kid who volunteered in a murder contest because I like the idea of getting
And
a
like-
chance to legally do this.
and I would go full Winter Soldier, like barely a word the whole time, because then
need
you're
you to
like, why
pick
is
a
this guy not talking?
I need you to pick a different example because Bucky is my love. he's not evil.
No,
The Joker.
An
was a good
unstoppable
one.
force,
Unstoppable
Darth
force.
Vader, Joker,
I-
like one of those things where like in the beginning, before you get to the part where you know Bucky, you know and love Bucky.
I know what you mean. I'm
At the
sorry
beginning,
to
you were
interrupt.
like, who the hell is this guy? Oh my God, what's he gonna do? Where you genuinely, as an audience, you're like, even though you intellectually know it's going to end well, as an audience member, you're still like, I know this is going to end well, but I don't know how they're going to get this guy. Like, I don't, like, that's what I would have liked for me to be even more like, because at the end I was like, okay, I kind of was like,
We can beat
let's
him.
do it. Let's, I don't know. Okay, are you going to shoot him or is he going to go to the dogs? Like, I knew that was going to happen. There was zero doubt in my mind. And I knew that it was not going to be that difficult. But like, if you had properly paced him out into like just a monster, I would have been like, oh, I don't like this.
I like that change a lot. I think, especially when they're like waiting under the tree for her, is very like high school bully.
Yeah.
They're all just like, let's hang out and make a fire. Like, this guy should be insane.
Yeah, just something like absolutely crazy and like something where he's just sacrificing henchmen.
yeah.
Like right out of the gate just because he's bored or something like that. Like it's like a nervous, abusive dad energy. Like everyone's on his side, but everyone's also just waiting for
like
the
it.
next strike. Like it should be frighten me, spook me.
I love that. Great change.
Anyways.
Damn, love it.
Andrew, what would you change?
I don't have anything as in-depth as either of you for this one, unfortunately. I just have a, let's cut out the shaky cam.
Oh, God, yes. How did I not?
So I'm just going to go a clean across the bow. Let's cut out the shaky cam.
Shit, yeah,
and then, my only other, contextual change for, within the story is that Peeta should have a weapon that's thrown. Is my other thing, because the whole thing is Katniss being like, he's so strong at throwing. Look how good and strong he is at throwing.
He doesn't even throw the guy off of the thing.
In training,
suplexed him.
there's one. It's a bit of wrestling, but then in the training montage, it's like, show them how good you are at throwing big, heavy thing. And I'm like, there are weapons you throw. There are throwable hammers and maces and
there's a lance.
cannonballs and that's a kind of throw. So if we just gave Peeta a javelin, if we gave Peeta a throwable weapon. I feel like it really could have been like, oh, look at him. He's playing into his skill set. Instead, he just painted a cake on his face once.
A bag of rocks, and he throws a rock every now and then.
Or go the other route and just cut out the throwing part, and all we see is him making cake designs, and then you're like, how's Katniss? This guy's a total liability, and it's an escort mission. How is she going to save this guy?
Yeah. So have him get him a throwable weapon and cut out the shaky cam. Are my two simple ones.
Work.
You know what? Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome changes.
Thank you.
Good job, everybody.
We've done it.
We're leaving in that he's a cake painter who paints his face. Are we leaving that in?
I want every scene to start with him wearing a new face.
Honestly,
it's me, Kato.
this is like a wardrobe change, like at a Mariah Carey concert. Every scene is just a new
you
face.
said you couldn't tell them apart.
It's me, Gene
I would
Parmesan.
very appreciate that.
Oh.
Yes, I would very much appreciate that.
Gene Parmesan. Excellent. We did it.
I think we've done it. Well, now thank you so much for being here with us today, my friend.
This was very fun.
And once again, listeners, please subscribe and check out Nile's new podcast, Comedians in Dungeons Getting Dragons. The first 2 episodes are live this week. So if you're listening to this the day it comes out, it'll be up tomorrow. But if you're listening to this more than the day it came out, it's up right now. Go check it out.
Yay.
Yay.
Yes, it's super hilarious. I think you guys will enjoy it.
It's a super fun time. We've heard it.
Yeah, and we agree. And now, where else? Is there anywhere else people can find you on the internet?
I am at Nile Séguin on all of the social medias.
Love
it. Yeah, easy find there.
Beauty. And if you want to reach out to me, you can find me online. I'm at Ivimey, Ivimey, on Instagram.
You can find me on Threads and instead Pics of Diana or Tumblr at Words of Diana. I have more fun over there.
And we will be back next week. We will be talking about new Doctor Who.
Woo! Tenant's back!
Tenant's back, and we will be talking about it next week. It's new Doctor Who. In the meantime, if you want to hear all of our podcasts and everything from the network, check out FromSuperheroes.com, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.
Woo!